in this episode of the Smarter Artist Show.
Case in point, I was doing a story that we're working on and I was giving it the Bible and stuff like that. And at the end of it, it asked if you have any thoughts of self-harm or suicide. And I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I get that. It has a little picture of the birdie. Like, I get that all the time.
So yeah, if the AI thinks I'm like suicidal or I'm going to go on a killing spree, yeah, I have concerns. I'm far too lazy to go on a killing spree.
Once upon a time, 3 writers helped crack open the indie publishing world. Then they rode into the sunset, building bigger stories, taking bigger swings, and learning what actually lasts when the noise dies down. Now the band is back together, older, sharper, and uninterested in shortcuts. This is the Smarter Artist Show with Sean Platt, Johnny B. Truant, and David W. Wright. It's the same 3 voices you know talking about the craft and commerce of storytelling, from the work they're creating to the TV shows and movies they can't stop thinking about. Shop talk for artists playing the long game in a creative world that never slows down. If you've been here since the early days, welcome back. If you're new, pull up a chair. You're listening to the Smarter Artist Show. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to the Smarter Artist Show. I'm David Wright and this is Sean Platt, and our other lovely co-host Johnny B. Truant is truant today. He's missing in action. Where is he today? Where in the world is Johnny B. Truant?
Well, I actually don't know where he is. The reason he's not here is because this is a makeup episode, you guys. For I I couldn't do our normal scheduled time last week. And although hilariously, I could. Like, something came in and we had to reschedule, and then that person canceled. The only time that they could do this thing, and everything got rearranged, and then they canceled like maybe 40 minutes before the meeting. I was like, grr. So anyway, we had to make up. So tomorrow is our normal time. I want to stay ahead. So we're doing it today, and trying to reschedule with Johnny is a little bit difficult, but he's just been
Well, he's a busy man. He's out at Comic-Con. He's doing his abs like 7 days a week.
Yeah, it might be a Comic-Con actually.
Thought he already did that, unless there's another one. I've lost track of how many there are.
Regardless, I gave him the choice. I'm like, Dave and I are gonna do a makeup for sure. You can join us or not. So I think he opted for or not.
I mean, who wouldn't?
But I like what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, thank you. There it is. I like the topic that you picked today. I think it'll be fun. But that's it. If we're gonna do it just the two of us, I just want it to be something that is unique to the two of us, like the last time where it was like talking about scripts. I think that's better for our conversation, and I think it's better for anyone listening.
Yeah, we had a few questions or comments on YouTube and email about the episode, basically wanting to see, kind of how we handle problems and brainstorming and stuff like that. So not on a line-by-line granular level like we did, but more of something that might be more applicable to stories. So we'll probably work on something like that.
Oh.
Maybe it'll be another you and me episode.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we'll have more you and me episodes. So like, let's do that the next time it's just me and you. I like that idea.
All right. So for today, I wanted to do something. Well, I had a couple of ideas, and one I suggested was so low effort. I was like, yeah, let's just phone it in.
Dave's about to like X the amount of work required for this whole dog and pony show. So he's looking for low-hanging fruit in the meantime.
Yeah, so I said, hey, Claude, why don't you ask us some questions? And, I put in a thing, I told Claude who we were, what we'd done, all of that. So the questions would be tailored to us. And yeah, Claude's interviewing us basically, although.
Did you ask Claude for something cool?
No, because I did, and Claude took one look at the world and said, there's nothing cool, Dave, go to bed.
I figured Claude would have said something cool as their pending domination.
Well, Claude did say there's nothing to worry about, relax, we've got you taken care of. So I don't know if you can read anything into that or not.
How are you when you talk to Claude? Are you nervous, or have you surrendered to the robot overlords already?
Well, I don't really, the only thing I've used it for is like story Bible stuff and maybe a few brainstorming things. I won't use it to write stories other than to like keep track of where I am in a story. Like, because we write a lot of stuff and we write stuff for other people, and it's a lot to mentally process. So I can't remember exactly everything I've written. And because, you know, you and I have written 1 billion books together, I think.
But yeah, dude, it's been really helpful. Right now, I'm building like the big world Bibles based on a world that we're actively expanding. That's one of our older franchises. And I mean, I was having Bibles created and I was reading over stuff. Dude, there's this one world, it's so rich, and I forgot so much of the stuff in it. I'm like, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I'm like, I was already excited to write again in this world, but like seeing the Bibles come back, it sparked so many ideas and so much like genuine enthusiasm to get back into the universe. So I think that's a great way to do it because here's the truth. There is no way. I'm not going to say there's no way I would write in this world again because I would. Like it's the right thing to do right now. But I wouldn't have the joy or enthusiasm because I would feel overwhelmed and I wouldn't want to go back and read all the books, but
Right. And that's something that I've had to do every time we've done serials.
yeah, that sucks the joy out of it for me. I know like Johnny's the opposite. Johnny likes going back and, reading stuff that we've written.
He's his own favorite author.
He's his own favorite author, right? So that makes sense. But I'm much more inspired by new ideas. And so I don't really want to go back and read stuff that I wrote before, but I want access to the knowledge that's there. And so that's been really great to get like the core themes and the highlights and all of that and see how it can be brought together. So yeah, I think that's a great way to use Claude.
Yeah, so my only nerves using Claude, well, there's a few because we tend to write about horrible things. Like I don't want to ask questions gonna put me on a list. Like, how do you dispose of a body in a very specific way?
Yeah, but how's that different from like your search history, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, but also, I have a brother-in-law who is a detective, and I used to go to him a lot for the questions because, he has a world of knowledge in police work, and that was easy to do. Now I can do it with Claude, and I'm like, okay, well, my brother-in-law knew I wasn't murdering anyone. This isn't like a Breaking Bad situation where like we're suddenly he's gonna find out, oh my God, they're like Dave was killing people all along.
so wait, okay. I love leaning into your paranoia. So are you worried that like at some point your conversation history with Claude will be exposed? Or are you worried about what Claude thinks about you?
No, I'm not worried about it being exposed. Case in point, I was doing a story that we're working on and I was giving it the Bible and stuff like that. And at the end of it, it asked if you have any thoughts of self-harm or suicide. And I was like, what
Oh
the
yeah,
fuck?
no, I get that. It has a little picture of the birdie. Like I get that all the time. That's I think,
So yeah, if the AI thinks I'm like suicidal or I'm going to go on a killing spree, yeah, I have concerns. I'm far too lazy to go on a killing spree.
that is true. But don't the rampant machine guns in rural Florida make it easy?
Well, yeah, but it also makes it difficult because I can't dodge gunfire like that. I'm
That's
not
true.
fucking John Wick.
I kind of love the idea of you being in an action movie where you have to like Neo style dodge gunfire. That'd
Well,
be
I
great.
think Bob Odenkirk already did that with Nobody.
Did you like Nobody?
I did. I liked both
I
of
did
them.
too. I thought it was fun. Do you have something cool?
I do have something cool today. Something cool is Jim Wilborn.
Hey Jim.
Wilbourne, if you're looking him up on YouTube, which is what I am advising because he's worked with us in the past. He's an author. He's done
He
videos
is
and
a
stuff.
bona fide smarter artist.
Yes, and we've known him for a long time, and he commented on one of our videos recently, and he said something about he was doing like, scripted content for his channel. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out, and I checked it out, and he's doing like video essays basically about creativity, writing, and trying to balance making money and having the life you want, the creativity and stuff. And it was really, really well done. he has an ease in front of the camera that I do not have. Like I watch video essays by a lot of different people in a lot of different fields, from like science to just entertainment to gaming to history, sci-fi, AI. I like just a bunch of different stuff, and I love the format, but I'm not that comfortable in front of the camera. So when I see somebody who is, I'm like a little bit not envious or jealous, because I don't have like, I just wish I could do it like that, but I don't have any like fuck him.
Yeah,
I
dude,
actually enjoyed the talent, and he's such a nice guy.
I'm 100% with you. I love a good video essay, and it's something I really wish I could do, but I am weirdly uncomfortable on camera. So like this is fine because we're having a conversation and I'm just ignoring that people might, watch it later. But like I don't know if I already told you the story, but about a month ago, I'm sure you may have actually seen this video because it was in Riverside. But I was supposed to record like this very short video. I'm not even like less than a minute, dude. Okay, less than a minute. And it was for like it needed to go on the landing page and I was recording it. And like I had a script, like it should not have taken more than 5 minutes, right? I show up, I do it, I'm done with the recording. It was so hard. I just feel so uncomfortable talking to the camera when I'm alone. And it was awful. It took me over an hour to make this 1-minute video. And when I was finally done, I sent it to the person that I was supposed to give it to. And I'm like, I sure am glad I'm done with that. And then he says, have you watched it? And so I'm like, well, I was there. I don't know what I did, but so I watched the video, and behind me, you see the plants behind me, right?
Uh-huh.
So there was there's a oh it was a oh, this is like a month ago. So there's a plant behind me, and it's so dead. And it's just the deadest looking thing, and, like, once you see it, you can't
Suicide.
unsee it. It's just sitting there right behind me, and it's just so brown. All the leaves are just brown on it, okay? And then wait, as soon as I finish, like, the last sentence, which is, like, upbeat, like, I did my job, it's upbeat. The final, like, leaf just falls right off the thing. He's like, "Dude, we can't use it. You're basically selling death."
Who are you, Dave?
I had to re-record the whole thing. Although the second time I was like so done with it. It took like 5 minutes and I was done. And it's probably better than the original one with or without the dead plant. But yeah, I'm with you. That's something that probably not this year, but next year I really do want to get into the YouTube thing. I tried it last year, but it was hard. Remember, I did like maybe 20 videos
Yeah.
and I was never, ever, ever comfortable.
I see a lot of video, like I look for like when I get in the mood to like reorganize my office or do something, and I find these videos of these creative people, and they do these aesthetic sort of videos, like where everything's like soft and tranquil, especially the women, although there's a few guys that also do that sort of style, but they do like everything in slow motion, like they're placing a plant on a shelf, and it looks so calm and like almost zen like. It's very relaxing, and then I imagine myself doing that, and it's not a pretty picture.
Well,
Like
you already-
obviously that's not my style, so I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be like, here's a fucking plant.
I would like to see your video essay. I actually think you'd be great at video essays.
No,
But-
I hate
but I-
looking at myself.
I get the comfort thing for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so my something cool. Have you seen the show Jury Duty?
Wait, did I finish? Oh, just go check out Jim Wilborn's YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the show notes and on YouTube and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave put a link in Slack, and they're great. Great job, Jim. So have you seen the show Jury Duty?
No, it's my least favorite subject.
Okay, so
Is
dude,
it a
this-
comedy or?
yeah, so it's a reality show, which is normally not my jam at all.
Set in Florida.
It's it's a reality show where only one person isn't an actor. So the first season was great, and I'm like, how are they ever gonna duplicate this? And I just finished the second season. I love this show. I think it's so good. I can't wait for a third season. And hilariously, the first season, we watched 3 episodes. And we're like, this is this is not good. We almost bailed on it, and then we watched the 4th episode, and it kinda clicked, and then by the 8th episode, the final episode, I'm like, "I love this show," and then the 2nd season that we just watched, I was in from the beginning, and so the premise is on jury duty. The premise is that somebody gets jury duty, but the main person, there's one person who's actually thinks that they have jury duty. Everyone else, the jurors, the judge, everyone else is an actor. And James Marsden is in it, and he's one of the people serving as a juror, but he's playing James Marsden, but he's playing like this like self-important actor, like having to do jury duty. And the reveal when they finally tell this guy that like, "Hey, dude, you've been in the Truman Show. This is all like we're fucking with you," is just so amazing. And then this new season, it's called Corporate Retreat, and it's the same thing. This guy comes in as a temp, and then he's supposed to help out with this corporate retreat, but all this shit just keeps happening, and he doesn't know that like there's cameras hidden everywhere. And the final episode, they like show how they put it all together, and the sets that they built and where they were all like hiding cameras, and it's just it's such a masterpiece of like social engineering. So have you seen any of Nathan Felder's shows, like the
Like
reverse?
once or twice. I watched Impractical Jokers, and back when I was a kid, I watched Candid Camera.
It's not really like that. Like they actually write scripts, so everyone has their lines, but they're like anticipating what this guy's gonna do, how he's gonna respond to these situations, and they 10,000 applicants to find the one person that they're like, okay, we believe that this guy can get all the way to the finish line and do the things we need him to do. There's definitely a story that they're trying to tell with this guy, and something he has to do on the last episode, or everything falls apart and he does it. And it's so beautifully ambitious and constructed. And so as like a story that's told in a very different form, like again, like I'm not a reality television guy, but this isn't really reality television because it's only reality television for one character in the entire thing. So anyway, I loved Jury Duty. No, I really liked Jury Duty. I really loved Jury Duty Corporate Retreat, the 2nd season, and I'm excited to see what they do for a 3rd season. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's 8 episodes, and they're 30 minutes. It goes very fast. We watched it in 2 days.
Yeah, I feel like my show is like a 20-year version of that, and I just haven't been told yet.
I believe that. If somebody said that your show was, or your life was a show, I could see where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, really. And aren't all the best comedies tragedies? I don't know. So, all right, well, with this something cool's out of the way, we will. What is it? So the next episode is something useful? Is our new direction?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. All right, because we keep saying the next episode, so I like to promise we should just keep doing it forever and never do it.
I kind of like that. Next episode, we will officially be talking about the Smarter Artist method.
All right. So let's get on with the questions that Claude saw fit to ask us. And the first one, how did you two actually start writing together? I feel like we told this story so many times.
Yeah, we told the story. I'll tell the 20-second version. So no,
Hold on, let me get my timer.
So Dave was going to get the domain Writer Dad. He pussied out, and I got Writer Dad. And then I'd been writing for a couple of weeks, and Dave sent me an email that said, "I want to hate you, but I really like your writing." And then we started writing together almost immediately.
Wow, you did it in less than 20 seconds. Okay.
Now
I should answer in a completely different ways.
Go ahead. How did we start writing together, Dave?
Well, okay, so I went to this, I think it was in Kentucky. I was on a road trip, and I went into a bathroom, and there was this hole in the wall.
I was wondering where this was going.
I won't finish that story. I don't want to embarrass you.
Well, didn't
What?
no.
Let's just say you weren't charging $2 million back then. Longtime listeners will know the.
Way to call back, Dave.
How many books have you written total? Do you even know?
I actually don't know. I don't know how many books I've written total, and I don't know how many books we've written together. Although I would like to have both of those numbers by the end of this year.
Okay. If only there was some way to do that.
Well, we're refurbing our catalog right now, so I am getting very intimately familiar with all of the stuff, and I am getting a clear idea of how many things we've written together. But I also like I don't know if I count nonfiction, if I count ghostwritten books, like if I count everything I've written, I don't even know how to get all of that information in one place. There's literally books I've written that I have forgotten and I will never remember.
I feel like you may have written more than any human alive.
Probably not, but I'm on a list. So the other day somebody was it was book covers. It was for nonfiction, and they were like nonfiction covers that like kick ass. And we were brainstorming what the cover should look like, and I was sent a link to this list post with, these nonfiction covers. And one of the books on there I had written and had no memory of it. Like if you had asked me about books I'd written, this one had never would have made the list. I'd written it so long ago. But I was like, "Oh, neat. I wrote that one." And so I don't know
My time at a Kentucky glory hole.
I don't know how many books I've written, but a
Okay. Yeah, my answer is the same. I've written far less than you because you've collaborated with other people. I've only collaborated with you. But yeah, it's
thank you for being monogamous.
yeah, well, I'm not like you. I don't need other people to please me. I am
You just need bathrooms in
satisfied.
Kentucky.
Yes, bathrooms in Kentucky. But yeah, over 60, I believe we're at now. It's a lot. It's weird when you meet someone like, "What are your books? Which of your books should I start with?" I'm like, I don't know, none of them.
Do you think you'll ever like something that you wrote?
Oh, I like a lot of this stuff when I reread it, but I'm just not really good at selling myself, I guess. Like I've been working on a fantasy book for now like 4 or 5 years in the background. Like I do feel like once I write that and we publish it and stuff, I'll be proud of that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I won't be proud of it.
Dude, I would love to believe that, but okay, so why have you never shared any of this fantasy book with me? Is it because you're just like waiting for do you not feel good about it yet and you will share it when you do? Or is it because you're just like, I don't want to bother him because there's always so much to do? Or like, well, I've never seen any of this. I've just heard about it.
Well, I mean, most of it is like in notebooks, like well, they're not. Yeah, like here on my
So
shelf.
it's still, even though it's been many years, it's still like conceptual more than anything you've actually written.
Yeah, I don't have a draft started. I've like written a lot of like stuff about it, like exploring it. Like I know what it's about, and I could write it probably tomorrow, but at the same time, we don't publish fantasy.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where like I don't think we were in a space to do that. And I really don't want to fuck up my first attempt at a fantasy because if I fuck it up, then I won't, be able to write more in it. And I want to. So it's sort of like, you have that big story you want to tell. And this has been percolating in my head for quite a while. My big thing that I wasn't ready to tackle yet. So at some point I will be, but we always have other books that we're writing first. So it
Yeah.
just keeps getting shoved.
Yeah, that's true. And we do have a little bit of a queue now.
Yeah.
But you're doing a great job teasing it. I'm legit curious.
Yeah, it
about
would seem indulgent to do it now and irresponsible if I were to actually start writing it now.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Okay. Do you ever get writer's block? And if so, what do you do about it? I like that Claude says, what do you actually do about it? I'm noticing trends in its words, actually.
I wouldn't say that I get writer's block in that like I can't function or I can't write. What I do get is bored. I think that writer's block for me is basically boredom. And so I need to figure out what about the project is boring me. And once I fix that, I can start writing pretty easily. There's resistance. Sometimes I just don't feel like working, but that's not really writer's block. That's just like there's other things that I want to do. And I do get shiny penny syndrome. So if I have like work to do, and there's other things that, I would rather be playing with, then, my mind will go there and it makes it harder to stay on the page. But I can usually solve that problem by making the thing that I'm doing more exciting. So like, what is the thing that I could do to be really motivated to just stay here on the page? And then I focus on that instead.
Yeah, I don't get writer's block. I get writer just overwhelmed and start doubting everything. Like, I don't know if that would be considered writer's block because I am writing, but like,
I don't think that's writer's block. I think that's just Dave being Dave. Like, honestly.
maybe Claude will ask me that next time. How do you split the work when you co-write? It's different for you with everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends. Like, I tend to defer to whatever is best for my collaborator. I find collaboration is most natural when I'm just kind of deferring to the other person's state, because typically, like, both you and Johnny are good examples. You collaborate very differently, and you're not native collaborators, right?
No.
You can both collaborate with me, but if you were to collaborate with each other, like, it would probably rip the space-time continuum or something, right? So I don't think that you're either one of you are natural collabs, but I am a natural collaborator, so I can collaborate. And I think that that is the best way that I find, is just figure out what works for the person I'm working with, and I could be malleable enough. So with us, there's not even really a specific way, because it's been different from project to project to project.
Yeah.
But I think that generally the way we collaborate is that I'll tend to have final cut on stuff, because you're very good at getting the ideas down and getting the story in the kind of order that it should come. But there's a little more telling than showing sometimes, and things that, I want to clean up. So generally, I think in our relationship, post-production is more important to me.
The Snyder Cut. One day I'll release the books as they were intended with
Yeah.
all the extra shit that you don't want. Yeah, we do approach each thing differently. Sometimes I'll write an outline and Sean will work from that. I don't do very well with outlines Sean provides because I need to kind of find story myself. I'm not engineered to write other people's shit, I don't think. So I'm
Yeah,
not good at
that's
that.
a good
Mhm.
point. That's a good point, because there was a season when we tried to reverse it a little bit, and I would outline for you, and then you would just go off go off the rails pretty quickly. And then it's like, "Why are you 8 years past the deadline?" You're like, "Well, I had to find the story." And the story was right
I gave
there.
you this story, fucker.
Yeah, that's true. We have kind of just completely abandoned the me writing outlines. What's been one of your favorite collaborations, and what is your least favorite collaboration?
Oh, hell, let me think. I mean, Yesterday's Gone was like the first real Available Darkness wasn't really collaboration so much. Yesterday's Gone, I suppose. I enjoyed the process for White Space.
Me too. White
I'm
Space
trying
is
to
still a
think.
favorite.
Maybe Z was my least favorite just because of all the external factors. I don't know. For me, I need to feel like the story's mine, which is why I can't imagine using AI to write a story, or I want to limit AI as much as possible because I need to feel like the idea is mine. I don't know. I feel like there's some, not integrity, because I shouldn't feel like that with a co-author. Like, I should respect their ideas and stuff. But just the way my brain works, I need to process and explore the story and feel like it's mine. And if it's somebody else, I feel like it's less honest or something. I don't know. I don't know what you would call that.
Well, it's you do take ownership of the story, but that's a great thing to have in a collaborator. Johnny's the same way, like, I will give him a root idea, but that story becomes something completely different by the time he's passing it back to me and I'm editing it and getting it, ready for our final version. There is that beautiful alchemy. That's what collaboration should be. It's not just you can get better work in less time, which I do believe that when collaboration works, that's a beautiful benefit of it, is that you get better work in less time. But I think the true treasure is that you create something that could not have ever been created on its own. Like, there's that the books that we write together, me and you and me and Johnny, are really they're representations of the way we collectively think about story. A Platt and Wright book is very different than a Platt and Truant book. They like the humor is different, the tone is different, the themes are different. But if you were to just
You could
completely
say it. Our books are better. That's all right.
if you were to completely write on your own, that wouldn't be the same as a book that we write together. I've written books on my own, and they're different than the books we've written together.
Well, if I was writing on my own, they wouldn't be done.
That is that is a true fact, man.
Held to my own deadlines, that book would take forever. Which, case in point, with the fantasy thing.
Well, I would like to help you with that fantasy thing one day.
That sounded like a come on. I heard you've had fantasies, Dave. Here's a good one. Have you ever hated something the other one wrote and it says had to say so? I would change it to like didn't want to say so or did say so. I don't know. What'd you do? Did you ever hate something that I wrote and what'd you do about it?
Yes, I did, and
Hey!
it became
Everything.
It became a joke. So do you know what the thing? There's only been one thing that I've actually hated that you wrote. One thing
dead
I
baby?
objected to. Wait, what'd you say?
The dead baby at Christmas?
Yes, the dead baby.
I don't even remember what story it was, but yeah.
So the story was it's something that never got finished or published. We basically threw it away. So it was kind of a take on Stephen King's, or actually Richard Bachman's Thinner, where he cheats on his wife, and so the stepmom curses him, and bad things keep happening to him until he admits that he cheated on her. And so you wanted to give them marital problems. You wanted to give them a reason that he would cheat. Like, it could have been anything. Couples can fight about anything. And there was a coworker, he was a journalist, because of course he was a journalist.
I don't have that many journalists in my story. Fuck off.
And there was like a young journalist who was working with him. That's who he ended up cheating on his wife with. But it wasn't enough that he was just like, she was a young, hot journalist. There needed to be like some deeper reason, which is great. No objection to that. But of all the things, it could have been that the mother was annoying. Like, there's anything that you could have done, but Dave goes straight for nuclear. So the reason that they have had issues is because not even a miscarriage, a straight up dead baby in the crib. Okay. Now, not necessary, I would argue, but fine. Okay, Dave, that's the most extreme. Then it's like, that's not extreme enough. It had to be that they go down on Christmas morning. And I'm reading this and I'm like, who is this for? What the actual fuck with a dead baby on Christmas? And I think it was just so reflective of like where you were emotionally at the time. And so like I definitely
Could you tell maybe I didn't want
yeah. Oh, I totally could. I totally could. And so, I mean, it was an interesting time because I did use that as like, we need to be thinking differently about what we're doing because you're clearly not happy. This is showing up.
If I'm not happy, nobody's happy.
So that was the only time I actually hated something that you wrote. The other thing that I objected to, I didn't hate it, I just objected to it, was, interesting. It was the end of Z2136, which you just identified as probably your least favorite, project. And there were a lot, like we were under crushing deadlines to deliver that to 47 North at the time. And we were juggling a lot, and we were just, the deadlines were not helping, and so we needed to get to the end of the final third book, and I don't even remember what the ending was. Actually, I just remember it was dismal and dark, and like everyone, basically it was like everyone dies and nothing ever gets better at the end, and that's where we came up with the daisy and the sidewalk. Like a Sterling and Stone core principle is we never leave the world worse off than we found it. Like there has to be a daisy on the sidewalk. And so we rewrote that, and it's fine. But I didn't hate that. I just objected to it. I hated the dead baby thing.
Yeah, I guess I would say the only thing I hated was that outline you made me write. Like, I was trying to remember, I don't even know why the dead baby thing I was just trying to think of, whatever, like the worst case scenario that would like put this couple at a point of no return. Like, It was a backstory thing. It wasn't like the story. It was to get us to where we were, something that happened
Which
in the
made it
past.
even less necessary.
I agree now. I see a lot wrong with that. I think when, when I can't get with the story, I just start killing people off. And eventually it'll become the story I want because none of the people that were in there are still in there. I got populated with my own people.
Well, dark, dude. Very dark.
What genres have you written and which one surprised you?
I don't know what I've pretty much written in every genre as like the main genres. I think it's subgenres that I haven't written in. Like I've
There's a billion of those.
written action and thriller, but I've never written military because I wouldn't do the research for it.
Have you written a cozy mystery with a cat that solves crimes?
No, I have not. But I've written a cozy mystery, but never with a cat. It's the main genres I've written. I think all the main genres. There's a lot of subgenres I've not written in.
And did any surprise you?
That's a good question. Okay, yeah, I will say there's one, and it's satire. So what surprised me is I've always really enjoyed writing like comedy and satire with Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never play in that playground with me at all, but Johnny will. Johnny will totally write humor with me.
Because I look at things that I thought were funny 5-10 years ago or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cringe. I don't want to write cringe. I want to write like timeless comedy that will be forever humorous and funny. And if it's not, oh well.
Yeah, but I mean, comedy is it's risky, and there's something fun about writing something risky.
Yeah.
I've done a little more comedy lately, which I didn't really have the confidence. Like I thought, I really need a collaborator for comedy. I need to be, I need someone to bounce off of. And I was surprised that like I actually weirdly, I don't even know. Maybe this is why it's on top of mind. I was doing a treatment for something today, and it was just like it's not even for a book, but it's a treatment I was sending to somebody, and it was making me laugh out loud a lot, and I love that, and I've laughed a lot when writing something specific with Johnny, where I'm either writing beats for him and they make me laugh, or I'm editing stuff that he's written in response and it makes me laugh. But comedy is not something I've done in isolation, and I've done it a few times recently, and I've enjoyed it more than I've expected to. I'm less intimidated now, which is cool.
I've mostly horror, light fantasy with Available Darkness, thrillers. Back in the day when I worked at the newspaper and even on my own blog, I wrote sort of Dave Barry-ish sort of humor with heart.
They were
And
fun.
yeah, and I like it, but sometimes it feels almost too confessional. Like I feel like I'm being judged for, like a good example would be like joking about something about parenthood or whatever. And you make a joke that you're clearly taking a shot at yourself, but somebody else might read it as, oh, you're a shitty parent if that's how you think. Like I get too in my head, like, what will people think? And it's weird because I don't really give a fuck. There's two sides of me. One side gives a lot of fucks and the other side gives no fucks. And it's hard to like get right in the middle there.
I've collaborated with both of those guys.
Yeah.
Both of those Daves are omnipresent as a collaborator.
The type of humor I would love to do though, like when I'm good at like reactive sort of, like take a commercial on TV or something. Like it plays out and I think of the best fucking spin on that. Like I would be great on SNL, like writing like that sort of stuff. Because
First of all, I agree with that. Second of all, I love hearing you say, I'm great at that. Like I love that genuinely.
in my head, I have no proof of that. I mean, I make my son laugh.
Yes, but I
Sometimes.
like it. I like it when you own something that you're good at. And dude, I think you're really funny on the page. I've said this for the entire time we've been working together. I would still like you to write How to Win Your Marriage. I think that is a best-selling book if you write it. Like I think you're very, very funny, and I don't think it shows up in our books. Like I feel like it could be. I feel like our we have occasional moments of humor, but
Yeah, I inject lines of humor for like characters and stuff, and that if it naturally comes into the story, I don't like to force it into the story. There was a story that I don't know if it was like a a series you all were going to write, or maybe you did write it. I don't even know. But I had the funniest idea, and I want to use it at some point. And I mean, telling it out of context now maybe is not funny. I don't know, but it was a woman that like lived in a very prudish area, and she was selling sex toys. And I can delete this if it's like giving away anything that is in progress. She was selling sex toys, and you all were looking for a funny scene. So I wrote an idea, and I don't even know if you used it, where there's like an open house. I don't know. There's some big event where like everybody in the neighborhood's at, and she's driving to it, and something happens, like a fender bender or whatever, and her trunk explodes open and just dildos fly out everywhere.
I have no idea what story you're talking about.
Yeah,
Are you sure this wasn't a dream?
Yeah, it wasn't a dream. It was. I laughed coming because we were like in a story meeting or whatever, and everybody's like looking for ideas. And I was like, "Oh, this should be hilarious," given the facts around who she was and the community she was in. I was like, that would be the worst thing that could happen, and hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious. I agree.
So look for that dildo popping out of the trunk. All right, let's see. Do you write every day, or is that advice overrated?
You go first.
I do write something every day, whether I write the project I'm working on or my ideas for another project. My pen is constantly flowing, and I do need to think on page. I'm not as good writing, typing it all out. Like, I need to get the idea down on page before that. So I do write every day in some fashion or another. Whether or not it's for the book I need to be doing or not greatly depends where my head is at.
Yeah, I write every single day. That doesn't mean I'm drafting every day, but I'm writing ideas, I'm writing like plans, I'm writing music. I mean, I've been writing. I write lyrics for the first hour of every day. Like that's how I wake up, and like I get that's very intentional. It's not like that's not going in my drafting, but it's writing, it's creating. Yeah, I mean, even before I did that, there's always been like I need to make something each day, and 95% of the things I make have words. So I do write every day. However, I don't think that like the second part of that question is that advice overrated? And I think it's to each his own thing. I think that if you don't write every day and then you go deep and you write like, you know, 10-hour fugues or whatever. Like Johnny's not writing every day right now. He's doing a lot of traveling and there's a lot on his plate. And I don't think there's anything wrong with not writing every day. I think you have to do what makes sense for your creative self and your creative life. That not writing every day is in any way a deficit. I think if you want to write every day and you're longing to write every day and you're not, then I think that organizing your life so that you're getting even 15 minutes to do the thing that will inspire you and keep you in that space is absolutely worth figuring out. But if you're not driven to write every day, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you not writing every day.
I do think depending how good your memory is, so like writing every day, like while you're working on a book is probably better, even if it's a few minutes just to dip your toe back in that lake and, remember where you are. Because I've had spaces where I've gone a few weeks before I would return to something that maybe we were working on something else in the meantime, so I didn't get back to it. And then when I got back to it, I was like, where the fuck was I?
I agree with that. I personally find that difficult. If I'm working on a story, I do want to stay in that story until I'm done with it.
Do you think that AI will eventually write better books than you? And does that bother you? I thought it's funny that it asked us that
Yeah, that's a good
because
question.
we're training it.
Yeah. The honest answer to that is yes, I do, which actually just gave me cold chills to admit, like, no exaggeration. But if you think about it, if I'm looking at the trajectory of what I've seen in the last couple of years, like it's not going backwards, right? AI is going to be naturally better at the things that are harder for me. So like voice is not hard for me. Like I like adding voice to stuff. That's fun. It's natural. I don't have to think. I just kind of do it. But structure is hard for me. Like I'm very lucky that I have people like Bonnie who help me with structure, and I've learned a lot about structure in the last several years. But it doesn't matter how good you are at structure. A robot that is all about pattern recognition is going to be better at structure than I am. And so if it can completely mimic my voice and if it could, okay, so my argument is if it could be as good as me at the things that I'm good at and better than me at the things that I'm not good at or not as good at, then wouldn't the cumulative effect of that be better? Well, yeah, I think it would be. Does that scare me? No, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but I'm not scared by it. It's more, I want to make sure that I stay on top of it. I want to know how always want to be in charge of the creative relationship with myself. And so that means that I want to learn new disciplines. So like right now, it's like I am spending a lot of time with music because it's a new thing. It's pushing my creativity. It's demanding new things. And I feel like I had two different tracks this week that I thought were like I shared both of them with you because like I enjoyed them enough where I'm like I could share these with Dave and he's not going to shit on me. And I really I like being able to feel that success in another discipline. So I feel like as long as I'm willing to go to new areas that scare me a little bit and push my creativity, then I'm not worried about what the robots can do better than me because I'm always going to figure out something new. And even if they could do that better than me, I'm learning to do something new. I think it's way scarier to think of like creative atrophy where I'm no longer growing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, on a technical matter, yeah, it could write better than me now, I assume. But like, I don't think you could tell a chat or whatever chat program you're using to write a joke and it'll be funny. It's not there. There's things it doesn't get from my understanding of it. Like, I haven't used it a lot for these purposes or at all for writing like stories, but just to see what it could do. I have explored to see what it was capable of. And I don't think that, like, it can create something that looks pretty, but it doesn't feel real. It feels like if you pick even like the slightest thread, it would fall apart. So by itself, I don't think it can yet write something that's cohesive and
But do you
that
think it can someday? That's the question.
probably, but still, even then, to me, it's I don't know. I feel like there isn't, at least from for the way I enjoy things. If I was to learn that some book or show or whatever was just made by chat, I would feel
Betrayed.
yeah, there's like I feel like when you write or when you read a story, you're connecting with someone through space and time. You're connecting to an actual person. Even though it's their made up stuff in their head, it might not represent who they are in any way whatsoever. It's not their real life. They're
But it was still
fictionalizing
them on
something.
the page, like, it was
Yes, there is a
they
connection
spent
of
yeah,
souls in some
right,
way, and
yeah.
that is lacking in chat. Like to me, I don't think I could like even when I hear AI music, like if you made something with your lyrics and stuff, I can enjoy it because of that. I get a lot of AI music suggested or a lot of music suggested to me on YouTube and YouTube Music. I like discovering things that haven't been found, but lately I've seen like, oh, I don't know if this person's real and I can't get with that.
Yeah.
I won't enjoy that.
So it's
So,
basically like the uncanny valley of music.
all right. We got two more questions. And this one, what do you read and does it feel like work or escape?
Oh, I like that question a lot. Hilariously, I don't really have the ability to read anymore. Like, I mean, no, I can read. I mean by that is if whether it's on the printed page is easier for me.
Uh-huh.
But anything that I'm reading on a screen immediately puts me into work mode. I start rearranging the phrasing and
Yeah.
I just start editing. I cannot help it. So print helps and audiobooks help. But I have kind of lost the ability to listen to audiobooks because anytime I've listened to audiobooks like when I go on a walk, for example.
Mhm.
And now when I'm using that time when I'm on a walk, I'm actually filtering through like songs that like I'm spending time with songs. So like it's I'm not really reading very much, but I am you know what I guess it is. I'm reading lyrics. I'm reading like I am spending time with creation. But but yeah, I'm not reading books like I used to, but I'm also reading a shit ton of books. Like I work with a lot of people, I collaborate with a lot of stuff, so I'm always getting other people's stories into my head and
Mhm.
into my life. So I don't feel like I'm lacking there, but I definitely as far as like outside of the studio or outside of clients, books, I'm not really consuming those like I used to.
I read a lot of nonfiction. I enjoy history. I like science. I like social sciences. I read horror and thrillers and fantasy. Now, here's the problem with me. When I start reading a book, if it opens up something in my head and makes me want to write something, I immediately put it down and I start writing something. I could read the beginning of a fantasy story right now, and I'm like, oh shit. I don't get an idea from that story, but just being immersed in it, like, oh,
Yeah, I totally get that.
I want to write my fantasy thing. Fuck this. And I'll put it down and maybe I'll get back to it. Maybe I won't. I have a ton of books that I've like not even halfway start finish, because I get inspired to do my own thing. And it's hard to get in the space where I like fully read.
What's the last book you read start to finish?
I can't remember. I can't even remember the last movie I watched. And that's just a deficit with my head.
The last book that I read start to finish that was not in any way work related was Project Hail Mary.
I either want to read that or see that. I heard that there's like some cool twist or something. Is there a big twist?
I haven't seen the movie, but my son saw the movie. My son, who does not go to see movies, he's a little bit allergic to movies, and he saw 2 movies in 1 week. He saw Super Mario Galaxy, and he didn't like it. Did he like the original?
Yeah. He's like, there's no story there. It was just like, hey, look at this thing we did. Hey, look at this thing we did.
I have not seen.
It's fan service the movie without any story.
Okay. I have not seen Super Mario Galaxy, but the original Super Mario Brothers, I actually really liked. I was shocked that
The
I
one
liked
from the
it.
80s with Bob Hoskins?
No, fuck
Oh.
you. John Leguizamo? No, not at all.
Okay.
No,
you had me worried there for a moment.
No, the animated one. And I knew somebody who was working at Universal as for Universal, I guess, as like a consultant where they'd come in and give them feedback, like professional feedback.
Yeah.
And he told me that this is before I didn't even know they were making this movie. And he's like, no, it's really good. And I'm like, they have paid you too much money, like completely discounted it. I did not believe it would be good. And then it was like Lego Movie in that way. Like Lego Movie should not be good, but it's like amazing.
Yeah.
And I felt that way about Super Mario Brothers. There was like, it was just so much more charming than I would have expected. Anyway, he saw Super Mario Galaxy and he saw Project Hail Mary, and he's he loved Project Hail Mary, and he told Cindy and I that we should go see it. We have plans. We're going to go see it day after tomorrow.
Do you read the book though?
Yeah, I read the book.
Okay.
And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, I like The Martian also. I like his style of writing. There's science, but there's humor. Like it's fun. Like it's a fun read.
All right. Last question. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think this one applies. What's the one thing about being a writer nobody tells you before you start?
That's a good question too. I would say that this might not be true now because the culture around writing has changed a lot since we started.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this is I don't know, even an accurate answer anymore. But before I started to write or publish more specifically, I think I would have answered this as that writing is that publishing a book is almost like a starting gate and not a finish line. So you think about like, oh, once I get this book published, then I'm done. You're like, no, you're not done at all. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do to keep that book alive. And then you have to write new books to keep your creative self alive, but also your catalog and your author profile. And so that there's a lot more like nurturing, and that it's not a relationship necessarily with just a book. It's a relationship with your entire creative catalog and your relationship with creativity itself. And that is something to feed. Like it is, of all the collaborations I have, I think the most essential collaboration is the one I have with my own creativity and, my own body of work. And I think that like publishing a book is just one molecule in the organism.
Okay. I think for me, it would be just how incredibly complex and difficult it can be, but also that showing up is half the job. And if you can do that, then a lot of that will fall into place. I mean, that sounds like a very cliche answer,
No,
but
but I do agree. I think showing up is a lot of creativity. I think showing up and being able to like work through the discomfort, because great creativity is not always easy. Sometimes it's a breeze. Sometimes it's just like breathing onto the page, and that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is about like figuring out why something isn't working, why you're bored, and to find that energy back. And that's a creative exercise in and of itself.
yeah, it almost feels like, when you're writing, and I'm talking about fiction more than nonfiction here, but I feel like you're not just solving the story problems, you're solving like your own internal problems. I'm not even saying like you're writing cathartically, although you may be, but you also have to figure out how you work and how your brain works.
Nonfiction or fiction, there has never been a project that didn't make me at least incrementally more aware of how I think and feel about the world. So I think that there's incredible value in creation because you're constantly refining who you are as a human. And I think that that's worth showing up on the page for every day. Whether you write every day or not, you can spend time with yourself, like nurturing who you are as a creator.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode. We'd like to thank Claude for these lovely questions. And if you didn't like the questions, blame Claude. And we did have another idea, which we'll probably hit another time, that I liked a lot. So
I do like the follow up on our last collaboration episode too. So let's plan on that. All right, bye everyone.
goodbye.
They chase the spark, we own the dark. They feed the scroll, while we leave a mark. No tricks, no hacks, just the code they lack. Yeah. We stay on the rails while they fall off the track. Smarter artists never die. Yeah. We don't lay stone for spectacle, don't frame for applause. We build the boring way, with discipline and pause. They expect the penthouse view before the footing is set. A crown without calluses, a win without sweat. The craft is in the mortar, not the hunger for more. Not the facade that cracks with a hollowed out core. You want the trick, it's tedious, it's thankless, it's true. Show up with intention till the structure starts showing you. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars. They chase spikes, we stack days. We build the house that never fades. Let them run, let them fly. Smarter artists never die. Yeah. Yeah. They chase vanity metrics that die at the peak. We pour the slow foundations while they sprint for the streak. We don't rent our attention to whatever blows through. We're setting corner posts for storms they never knew. We're not racing to the ribbon, we're widening the base. Let the footing fully cure before the frame locks in place. Every draft's another course, every session's a beam. We're not chasing momentum, we're constructing the dream. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars. They chase spikes, we stack days. We build the house that never fades. Let them run, let them fly. Smarter artists never die. They'll throw parades while you're still setting the forms. Pop champagne and glass towers while you're bracing for storms. Some nights you wonder if the blueprints are lie, if the long game's just patience that forgot how to fly. But scars become low bearing when the structure survives. When the fast builds crack open and the slow ones stay alive. We don't ask for permission, we don't wait to be seen. We're drafting our futures in the quiet in between. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars.